Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian, and today we are looking at the evolution of the Patreon wars. So many of you who are selling coaching programs or teaching authors, folks who are selling digital downloads, creating courses, membership style content, and communities are looking to migrate from Patreon for a plethora of reasons we've covered elsewhere, but Patreon certainly has pissed off a significant percentage of their user base and the public who support or patronize those makers and creators by dint of their new pricing model and so forth and so on. So that's the backstory. And, many of you are already dealing with looking for an alternative platform to use. So my recommendation is Podia.com. It's what I use. You can see my community on Podia, goodkarma.podia.com. This is for our inspired author community. Lots of just great functionality, platform oriented functionality for teachers and authors and coaches and content creators of all kinds, all types, all stripes. You can see mine as an example, or I should say ours as an example, because we're delivering our content on Podia. But I wanted to also recommend those of you who are looking for something that's a little bit less expensive than Podia. I'm paying $79 a month for Podia.com. It does a lot of great things, but for some of you, it may be a little bit expensive, or a little bit at this juncture pricey for what you want to accomplish. So another option is Gumroad. I also use Gumroad. I've used Gumroad for many years in various projects, and it just works really, really nicely. It's easy to use, it's elegant, and they're really going after the Patreon market. So I know the creator of Gumroad is a fan of Patreon. I think he may also use Patreon himself. But they're also simultaneously really approaching in an aggressive way the folks who are unhappy with Patreon too. So here's a great post today. It's the 3rd of January, or actually maybe the 4th of January, where you can read a little bit about some of the benefits of switching to Gumroad. This is written by an author who has migrated her stuff from Patreon to Gumroad. She shares in a fairly objective way what she sees as the pluses and minuses of Gumroad versus Patreon. And from my reading, and I think from the general response, she's pretty happy with making the move to Gumroad. I've recommended Gumroad to others for years. I mean, it's $10 a month for the premium membership, and you can do some really cool things. I don't like it quite as much as Podia. It doesn't do quite as many of the cool things that I'd like to see my clients and my own business with partners using. They have memberships, they have courses, they have digital downloads, email marketing. It looks great. You can create a whole marketplace style community for your content. Lots of cool things, and Gumroad doesn't quite meet that sort of barrier of or that level of engagement for me, right? But I mean, it's also $10 versus 79. Gumroad also has a free option, so you can use that as well. Gumroad also charges, by the way, per transaction, although it's a low fee model. Podia does not. Podia.com charges no fees. So that's something to consider as well. But again, you can read all this. I mean, this is a pretty nice rundown of one person's experience moving from Patreon to Gumroad. And she kind of illuminates her map for engaging her audience and following up with her customers. And it really seems like she's having a great experience. So even here you can see she says, she tried Gumroad and, had this sort of aha epiphany moment that she should have been doing this all along. Again, this is a non-compensated person. She's not doing this as a fee-based thing to promote Gumroad. It seems like she's doing a pretty objective and fair-minded review of her experience. All right, so you can check that out, gumroad.com. This is blog.gumroad.com. I'll have a link to it below. You can also see some of their new FAQs about what they're doing and why. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks.